I have with me Gavin McInnes. Gavin McInnes, I was on his show recently. I had a hootenanny of a time, and I have to tell you, it's an honor to have him here with me. He's an author, co-founder of Vice, host of Get Off My Lawn on CRTV, and founder of the pro-West fraternity, Proud Boys. Gavin, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad, man. Happy White History Month.
So that's the deal now? July is White History Month?
Yes, I started it this year, and it's the first time that white people have been appreciated in a long time. And I figured that, we have so-called Black History Month, Homosexual History Month, Women History Month, Chinese History Month, Mexican History Month, everything but White History Month. And if it wasn't for white folks, there would be no America. And it's just time to realize that and start dealing with it.
Yeah, there's a museum in Ottawa, Canada, in my hometown. It's called the Museum of Civilization, and it's all about the people who built Canada,
yes,
which is probably 80% Scots. And they have everything but Scottish people there. At one point, they've rebuilt a Cambodian laundromat in Calgary. So it has these mannequins folding your laundry as an integral part of what built Canada. And then a bunch of Native American art, which, was pre-Canada.
Yes.
It's bizarre how much animosity there is towards white people in the Western world these days.
I know, it's amazing. So what do you think of White History, July as White History Month? And I picked July because, as I've said over and over, July just seemed white. You have the 4th of July. It's in the air. It's everywhere. Vacation time. It's like you worked all year and now July. It just feels white.
Yeah, you're right. I love it. And I think we should have a moment during White History Month to talk about all the people who died, the 620,000 who died ending slavery in America,
yeah,
all the Irish slaves who died, all the children of the Industrial Revolution who were forced to work in the coal mines. We should have a big memorial for all the whites. And how about this? How about all the whites in history who have suffered from blacks, like when Hannibal and the elephants came up from Africa and took over Italy, or the Moors taking over Spain, all the horrible oppression whites have suffered over the years.
Amazing. Why do you think there is an attack upon white people, not just in America, but Europe and other areas? Why are white people so hated, but yet these people want to come to their country and take over?
I would say it's racism against blacks. This constantly insulting white people is actually the bigotry of low expectations, and it's saying that blacks, especially black women, can't handle criticism. They're too fragile. They're not good enough. So we'll attack the patriarch, the white male, because he can handle it. So by having this double standard, you're actually saying that whites can't handle the same criticism blacks can't handle the same criticism that whites can. For example, at my house with my kids, if my kids fart on me, it's not a big deal. I just go, hey, move or something. If they were to fart on their mother, that would be end of days. I mean, you're in big trouble for that. We have a different set of rules for dad and mom because dad can take it. Dad can take the abuse.
I noticed that white men, and I've been warning them for the last 28 years, they have been afraid to speak up. They won't protect their children. They won't protect their families. And they send their children out into these universities and places like that. And their children are under serious attack. The white children are. But the parents just keep sending them back out of a fear of being called racist. Why do they love the blacks more than they love their own children?
Sometimes I think that it's a genetic trait in whites where they love self-flagellation, self-castigation. They don't like themselves. And this could be why Christianity did so well amongst white people, because we all want to be persecuted. We all want to be martyred. I honestly think it might be a genetic trait because the way whites, talk about how horrible they are and try to prevent each other from existing. You have all these white women saying, I'm not going to have babies because they'll be white. And I hate whiteness. How many articles have you seen that talk about the unbearable whiteness of blah, blah, blah? And it'll be
Right.
always a white author. I can't imagine a Japanese person writing that. I can't imagine a Mexican or a black person writing about the unbearable blackness of something. It's just unfathomable. And you can talk about socialization and slavery and all these other things, but, you know, we've had we never stopped having slavery, really. It's still going rampant in Libya today. So I don't think it can be as simple as slavery. I think there's something genetic about white people where they just want to subsume guilt. They want to take on all the world's problems. That's the only solution I can think of.
You founded a fraternity called the Proud Boys.
Yes.
Tell us about the Proud Boys. What is that? What's the purpose?
It's remarkably simple. It's just a men's club. It's like the hipster Shriners, but more blue collar. And they happen to love Trump, which all men's clubs really do. The Knights of Columbus, the Shriners, the Masons, they all love Trump. But this used to be the norm. From the year 0 till the year 1985, there was just clubs everywhere. Men would go out, just hang out with men, drink beer. They wouldn't have to, pull out chairs for ladies or anything, and they could tell off-color jokes. And then with feminism, with the 80s, I guess that was the second wave, the Gloria Steinem feminism killed them.
Yeah.
Men ended up at strip clubs. That was the only place they could hang out where there was no ladies, not women, but ladies. And I'm bringing it back. And I think the reason it exploded, and there's thousands of them all over the world, is because men really enjoyed having a place to stay, being able to just be men and have a totally woman-free zone. I think it's a totally natural thing, especially when you're married. Now, we ended up getting pretty violent, but it's because we were getting attacked. So there's sort of a second part of all this, where if Ben Shapiro or Lawrence Southern or a friend of ours is doing a talk, we'll go with them and make sure they're safe, because Antifa is sort of the opposite of a men's club.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are ruthless felons, perverts, and lunatics armed to the teeth with hammers and brass knuckles and M80s and pepper spray, and they attack anyone who advocates free speech.
So do you guys meet? Is this like, do you get ever like the whole organization come together and work on changing things?
We meet every year at a thing we call West Fest, where we just get hammered and hand out awards and stuff and beat each other up. We rarely get down to business, but it's exactly like the Knights of Columbus. There's chapters all over the world, and each chapter meets once a month, goes through the general affairs of the day and any problems we have, and we say, we chant USA and all this stuff, and then we get drunk. I mean, it's not rocket science, but in this day and age, it's considered a very controversial thing to be. It's very controversial if men want to hang out and not be ashamed of themselves, and if men want to fight back when getting attacked. Those are two very taboo things now.
Is it the organization, does it include all races of men or just white men?
All races of men, all sexual proclivities. We have gays, we have Jews, we have blacks, we have Indians, we have Asians. It's funny when we get attacked by Antifa for being racist, because inevitably the group that is attacking us is more white than we are. For example, the number 4 news story on Drudge today is that we all got kicked out of a bar in L.A. called the Griffin in Atwater Village.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And that was 19 guys, 3 white guys, 4 Jews, 10 Hispanics, 3 black guys. I forget the exact breakdown, but only 3 guys were non-Hispanic, non-Jewish. And we got swarmed by beta male comedians screaming, "No KKK, no Proud Boys, no USA," or whatever. They were all white. All of those guys were white.
Is Antifa the same group as Occupy Wall Street? They just changed the name?
Yes.
It's the same people.
And they break down into different groups depending on where you are. They're usually the sons of academics. They're usually rich kids living at home. In Berlin, for example, they did a study and found out that 95% of these kids live at home. So you need to be, receiving free stuff to advocate for socialism. So they tend to be the children of academics. They live at home. They are easy to fight. They're losers, especially in New York. But there's other places like Berkeley, California, where they're so entrenched that it's not just academics and the sons of academics. It is these wayward youth, these lost punk rockers. And they get taken in, and they get food and sustenance and a roof over their heads. And these poor bastards feel beholden to their hosts. So there are occasional total sociopathic, mentally damaged, I call them the Lost Boys, who are members of Antifa in Berkeley and Oakland. And those kids will stab you. I mean, they are like orphans who have been adopted, and they are particularly dangerous.
Yeah. I believe that, and you can correct me on this if you like, I believe that it was a mistake for white Americans to allow people of color to come in. When I come back, I want you to respond to that. 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. Gavin McInnes is with me, an amazing guy. I was on his show. I had a hootenanny of a time. It was more than a notion. Back in a moment. So, Gavin, I believe that it was a mistake to allow people of color into white countries. And the reason I believe that, because it's like you invite these people into your home and they turn on you. And I'm concerned that we're going to have the same situation in America that is happening in South Africa. The government now is black, and the ANC controlling the government there, and white people are under serious attack. The white farmers are being robbed and killed, and just body parts cut off, and all kinds of mess. Was it a mistake to allow people of color to move here?
No, I think that we've had a lot of immigrants over the years, people of color, who are pro-Western. Britain is a great example of this, of the problems with immigration. They first had the Jamaicans come in, the Yardies they called them, in the 70s. There was a little bit of turmoil, but they did great. And now if you go to a soccer match, there's a huge contingent of black geezers drinking Guinness and enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Then they did Indians. That also went very well. They didn't take any jobs. They added jobs. They're educated class who assimilated, became British. Now they're doing Muslims, and it's not going well because Muslims, the Indians and the Jamaicans, they came from British colonies, so they understood the British mentality. The Islamicists are there to set up a fifth column, and they even elected a mayor, Sadiq Khan, who told the populace, you don't have to assimilate. That's no longer part of the immigrant experience. Now, as far as America goes, we don't have that problem yet. I think a lot of immigrants who come here love America and want to be part of it. And we tend to get the cream of the crop when it comes to terrible countries like India and China. Even the Mexicans, I think they tend to assimilate a couple generations in. They definitely don't develop this burning hatred like the Sarnev brothers where they want to blow up the place. But I think if we start taking more Muslims, then we're going to start seeing more immigrant animosity. So my problem isn't race. My problem is culture. And I think Islam is the first culture that is turning out to be incompatible with the West.
Well, I've noticed that here in Los Angeles, a couple of things are happening. One is over in South Central LA, or in the urban areas around, there's a major war happening between the blacks and the Mexicans because the Mexicans, especially the illegals who are coming in, they hate black people. In Mexico, the blacks are second-class citizens. And so there's a major warfare going on in Compton. A lot of blacks have to get away in order to preserve their lives. And also in the areas, East LA and South Central LA, where the Mexicans are coming, it looked like Mexico. It no longer looked like you could drive like 4 or 5 blocks east and look like you entered Mexico. So they're not coming in either and just taking on the American way.
Yeah, you see that in Queens and New York and the Chinese areas where you'll see no English signs.
Right.
And as you walk down the street, you go, this is indistinguishable from Beijing. Yeah, I guess I was talking about the flyover states in the Midwest, but you're right. The coastal towns have got a totally different problem going on. And California is shockingly unique when it comes to this race war thing. The only thing more shocking is the total and utter silence from the press. But as I was saying to Tommy Sotomayor last night, they are throwing Molotov cocktails into the homes of black people, aiming for the child's bedroom to maximize terror. They shot a 13-year-old girl who was just riding her skateboard. She has nothing to do with gang culture. because they are trying to ethnically cleanse the South Central and make it Mexican, and it's working.
Yeah.
They're doing a phenomenal job of erasing an entire race of people.
And you don't hear Maxine Waters, the Wicked Witch of the West, Jesse Jackson, the NAACP, the black preachers, or anyone talking about it. They're just allowing it to happen because they think somehow or another that these people are going to vote for them once they get into those communities. It's not going to happen. I got to ask you this. What is Western chauvinism?
Western chauvinism is an exuberant love of the Western world and everything the West brings. So that includes Western Europe, Canada, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, parts of South America. I would say Chile is Western. And the Western values are really meritocracy. It has a backbone of Christianity, but it also is a system based on meritocracy. We don't advocate for socialism. And we basically say no matter who you are, we don't have a class system here the way the Brits do with their posh accents and their working class accents. No matter who you are, you can be rich if you bust your ass. And that is a very unique thing globally, where everyone is equal in the eyes of the law. And I don't think we appreciate it enough.
Yeah.
We poo-poo it.
We're running out of time together. I got to ask you this. I know that men are under attack. Men are the most, especially straight, white, conservative, Christian men of power, are the most hated species on this side of heaven. What is a man?
A man is someone who has beaten the crap out of someone, had the crap beaten out of him, broken a heart, and had his heart broken. If you've endured those four things, you are a real man.
Well, Joel, you must be a real man. my audio engineer here. And what is love?
Love is, it's invented by God. It is sewn into our DNA. And when you love someone, you are eternally devoted to them. You want to breed with them. You want to make more of you. I think it's a chemical reaction that God set off. And once you love someone initially, you make babies with them. You love them for life. And it's irrevocable. And it's a feeling that's difficult to articulate. But basically, you would take a bullet for them, and they go above you in many ways.
Is it, am I right in that white people need to start making more babies? They need to do what the Mormons are doing, just start back to have babies everywhere?
That's my monologue you just stole from my upcoming show on Friday, CRTV Tonight. The one thing the right and the left have in common when you see these pundits on TV is they don't have kids and they don't get married. Most of my friends don't have kids and they haven't been married. We need that's all that matters is more American families, black families, white families, more Western families, more dads sticking it out. I know you had a fight with your wife. You're going to sleep on the couch for 3 days. I'm sorry to hear that. Try not to get so drunk you wet the couch. But that's just part of life. Endure it. It's what makes entire communities thrive, and that's what America is. It's just a series of communities. And without families, you can't have communities. Without communities, you can't have a country. And without a country, you have Armageddon.
Are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm Roman Catholic.
Right on. You know, I really appreciate coming there, going there, and was on your show with you. I had a lot of fun. What did you think of the interview with you?
I thought we barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I have to sit down for 7 hours to really hash it all out.
Yeah.
You know, I find when you talk to curious people who have looked stuff up, you inevitably are going to agree. It's very rare that you have all the data and you've talked it out and you presented both sides and you've looked up all the things the other guy's saying and you still disagree. I'm at the point now where I don't even believe in opinions. Like people come up to me and they go, especially black guys, they'll say, yo, I disagree with a lot of what you have to say, but I respect that you speak your mind. And I'm like, what specifically do you disagree with?
Yeah.
Let's hash it out right now.
That's right. Do you have a website? I mean, I know you have a website. What do you want to give out for the folks here? We're running out of time.
CRTV.com. If you use the passcode Gavin, you get $10 off. It's $10 a month. You can see my 2 shows. My podcast, by the way, also called Get Off My Lawn, is free. And there's a myriad of other shows on CRTV.com. It's definitely worth the 2 beers a month in fees.
I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And I hope we meet again soon.
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Take care now. Amazing. I need you all to subscribe, support us on Patreon, like us on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter.
Got it.